Money doesn't just talk, it screams the whole bloody house down, doesn't it? But here, we pride ourselves not on how much money we have, but on the strength of our character and the warmth in our heart, which is a good thing because we've got no budget left. Whatsoever, apart from our lovely panel. Now, like Helen said, the truth comes out when you're drunk. So, guess what we've done to the panel tonight? We have plied them with booze. So it's going to be a jolly good night because not just booze, but cheap booze. My first guest is absolutely fabulous. She is an actress, a comedian, author and journalist. Is there anything this wonderful woman can't do? It's the gorgeous Helen Lederer. Next up is a kids' TV legend who usually goes by the name of Tracy Beaker. Well, this ain't kids' TV. It's nowhere near as intelligent and far too immature. Please give it up for the gorgeous Dani Harmer. And my final guest has been gracing our screens over the past few weeks in Celebrity MasterChef. Luckily, we've managed to poach him tonight to help us saute through the gossip. Please whip up some noise for his big entree. It's Christopher Biggins!
What a terrible gag! Unbelievable! Wow.
I thought you'd like it.
Honestly, you didn't get the trifle, a trifle. You know.
How would you do a trifle gag?
Well, I don't know. You could have a trifle Biggins. Shall I go to my seat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so. Biggins. Okay. So, just having a little chat over there. A little chat. So, the house has lost the extra prize money and everybody is at each other's throats. Wasn't it? It was like typical, just like this. Oh, what are they doing now? Oh, I've got to watch it. Biggins, what do you make to the whole fallout?
Well, it's so fascinating because they're all, I think, playing games. Because they know the end is nigh and they're sort of playing with each other and playing with us at home. I have to say, I spoke to Barbara Windsor just a few minutes before coming on.
Oh! Let's pick that name up and put it back on the table.
Her and her husband, Scott, are loving this series. They think it's the best series that's ever been of it. They just think it's...
point is, Christopher?
Well, they just think it's wonderful. And I think it's great. And I think what's interesting today was that the fact that they were getting themselves into all sorts of difficult situations. And I'm not sure how they're going to get out of it or who's going to win at this particular moment.
I know. Well, it did all kick off, as we said. And Helen was pretty vocal, aiming most of it at Chris. Helen, do you think she had a point?
Oh, Helen having a point?
Yeah.
Just remind...
Helen? Did Helen have a point?
I think Helen finds it very difficult to make points because she's stuck on a loop. I know everybody swears, and I swear myself, but she can't... I find it difficult to understand what she's actually communicating, except that she's aggrieved and cross. So the point went over my head, sadly.
Well, I heard a little muttering.
Point doesn't get across because she gets too angry each time. So if she took her time and evaluated the situation, she had no reason to jump down everybody's throat.
She attacked Mark, didn't she?
This morning, over that, she didn't hear what they were saying properly. Half a conversation she heard.
Oh, you mean
should have took Chris, yeah.
Yeah.
When Chris and Ashley were talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Helen sort of like attacked them straight away. She's just... Oh.
I think she heard exactly.
Go.
I think she heard exactly what she wanted to hear.
Yeah.
She heard the whole conversation and only relayed the bits she wanted to make herself look like the victim.
No, she walked in halfway and then translated it wrong.
We've got to talk about tonight, because last night we talked about last night. So tonight, I think it's only fair we talk about the night. Ash and Mark, they also agreed to take that money, didn't they? It wasn't just Chris. Hold on! I can't even get my questions out tonight. They're so eager to please. They also agreed to take the cash, but they didn't seem to get as much as a bashing as Chris did. Why do you think they got off the hook so easily?
Probably because they're the cool kids, aren't they? And they were just using Chris as a scapegoat. And I just think it's ridiculous. They were all doing it for the same reason. So yeah.
What did do you guys think? What did you think of the three reasonings and how everything was handled?
I noticed when Helen piped up that they all sort of ran for cover. I mean, Mark was very quiet during that conversation. And I just think that was their tactic for dealing with Helen, you know, just avoid that kind of communication about what they did. And then Christopher then piped up and said a hell of a lot, but none of them defended it and sort of stuck up for him and kind of, they just left it. And this is the interesting thing, is that neither Ash or Mark said anything during the time that Christopher was ranting on about. Yeah, and I thought that was the most interesting.
Nicola, why would they be stupid enough to say something? Again, we are in a game show. Tactically, it's a good idea to stay back and not say anything, isn't it? Because you don't want to throw yourself under the bus.
Sorry to interrupt, both of you should be on the panel, by the way. But it's very revealing what they don't say, and you're right to remind us, but I'm busy making judgments because that's my job.
What?
We're having a go at her for speaking her mind. But what's wrong with that, right?
Having a go at who? We were talking about Ash and Mark also.
Yes,
also
but we're talking about Helen's words, and it's Helen's words which I think is so good. The fact that she speaks her mind, you know where she stands, and you know.
Listen, Helen should shut the fuck up. She
It's what happens when Biggins comes on. I was trying to talk about Mark and Ash and kind of move it on from Helen, kind of give her a little bit of a break. In the diary room, Mark did say that he would keep £5,000 to himself before he split the rest of the money. Now, Danny, if the other housemates had have heard that, do you think they might have reacted differently to Mark?
No. Not at all, because it's Mark and he can do no wrong. He's an angel, and clearly they're not seeing what we see, which is just an attention-seeking, annoying man. But no, I don't think they would have reacted any differently. I think it still probably would have been Chris's fault somehow.
Now, Ash said that he would take the cash and he would split it fairly. Do you believe him,
No.
Christopher?
Not at all.
Really?
No, I
See,
think
for me, Ash was the only one I believed.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, but he's got that
I don't know
male way
why.
of saying things emphatically in that male way.
Yes.
Are you saying I've been charmed by him?
I think you
totally
have,
saying that.
darling. I think you have. I should be talking to your husband later.
No, I don't. To be honest, he's not my type. You know what my type is.
I know what your type is, absolutely.
I don't know. I just kind of got the impression from him that it would be. Christopher, Mark, I kind of thought, oh, and Chris gave so many different reasons. It was hard to kind of know where he was going to go and exactly what he would do with it. But I
think the whole money thing was a very clever thing to put into the show at this particular moment.
Screwed it right up, hasn't it?
Absolutely screwed up. But I think it's very clever because they were all playing games, I think, in all the reasoning they had for not accepting the money. They wanted to appear holier than thou. And for accepting the money, they wanted to prove that they were real people, I think. You know, so it's been very... No, you're right. There's nothing real.
There's nothing real about Mark.
No, I agree.
I think basically with Ash, I think it was a case of I'm going to grab some money because I've got no chance of winning this, and at least I then have control over the situation. Yeah. With Mark, he was the only person who was not going to split it equally, or so he claimed. I mean, seriously, it takes effort to be as nasty and vindictive and as fake as Mark is.
I agree.
Is he in love with Christopher, by the way?
Huh?
Is he in love with Christopher?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, this is my next. This is kind of where we're going next. Mark and Christopher, they had a massive row again, didn't they?
They did.
They keep barneying all the time over Mark's lack of trust. He kind of delivered that old chestnut thing right where it would hurt. Is this going to be, Danny, the final nail in whatever relationship may or may not happen between the two of them?
Oh my gosh, I do hope so. I'm getting so bored of it. But to be fair, I think it's making Christopher stronger. And I've liked Christopher from the very beginning, but I think he's really coming into his own now and showing Mark what he really is. So I really do hope it's the end.
I think Mark...
There's only one thing,
Mark, the thing about this kind of whole show has kind of revealed that Mark has been playing Chris the whole time. And I think the example is that when... it's because the audience have clocked on that he is a massive game player. So when Chris actually revealed was honest to Mark about the fact that he's not trustworthy, I think that Mark made a fool out of him in the garden when he got drunk to invalidate him. So I think what's happened is that I think this task now with the money situation has now confirmed in Chris's eyes that Mark is now a game player.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there was any genuine kind of.
You don't think any of it was genuine?
No, not on Mark's side at least. I think Mark knows how to play the game better than Chris knows how to decipher who's genuine and who's not.
Okay, well, let's take a look at Mark's versions of events last night.
As far as I'm concerned, last night, before I was like, I understand that you were defending your mate there, but the fact of the matter is, you didn't just defend your mate. I said your mate threw you under the bus there and let you take all fucking flack. Instead of fucking going, hang on a minute, no, Christopher, I can defend myself, yeah. Or no, don't get involved, it's all right, don't get involved, I'll sort it.
What did he say?
He couldn't understand.
Oh, God, that is so frustrating.
I was going, it was like he had your puppet strings, do you know what I mean? I said, he let you argue for him, that while you're arguing, he went off to Ashley and said something to Ashley to wind Ashley up to then make her argue for him. But she didn't bite the fucking bullet. When he just threw you into the line of fire there completely and you didn't realise it. I said, friends don't do that.
I can't lie, I will be so gutted if Mark goes tomorrow, and that is because I know I'll be a big part of the reason he's gone, and I know that. There must have been 5 rows in the last week. Yeah. Goodness knows what they think this week.
I don't think it's any of your problem if he goes tomorrow, because he acts the way he does.
I just sometimes wish I'd left it and I'd never ever let things get to the point that they got to with us, do you know what I mean?
It would have been somebody else that would be speaking to you like this. So no matter what, his own personality would have come out.
Biggins, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's very interesting. I think that Mark is definitely playing games, I think. Yes. And I don't think he's doing it very well. I don't think he's acting it well at all. And I think he thinks he's very clever. Because obviously, I think he does feel for Christopher, and I think there's a sort of... I think there is. I think there is a genuine care for him, but he's now realising that he wants to get his eyebrow clinic together and he's got to get as much money as he can to win it, and I think he wants to play that game.
Well, on the brown note, we're going to leave it right there. Still to come, Diane Udell. Well, no, there's a whole show left yet. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Still to come, Diane Udell's going to be here to talk tasks and hopefully show us a couple of high kicks. I'm not going to do it, we'll see in a minute. Think that we are an embarrassment to the human race. Quite frankly, they're probably right. Time now, though, for an exclusive. And Ashley, she is not happy.
How do you feel everyone reacted last night?
Overreacted. Massively. I was actually kind of happy at the end up that the money went to zero, because it just proved that, like, what some of the people are like. Like, so obsessed with money and stuff, and it was just like, it was annoying. But and then, like, they said, like, I've said this a few times now, but they said they were going to spend 10 grand for 4 days in Ibiza. And then, because I wouldn't spend 10 grand in 4 days in Ibiza, because I just think that's absolutely appalling, they seem to think that I tried, as well as Chris, to make them look like bad people. Now, if you ask me, I can't make that sound or look any worse than what it does. So it's not my fault if the public think they're a bunch of assholes, because I think they're a bunch of assholes and I'm living in here, so I know if I was watching, I think they're a bunch of assholes as well.
I think the point she's trying to make is that she thinks they're a bunch of arseholes. OK, it's time to chat about the power of money and how it's affected the housemates. So here to help explain the latest goings-on is a woman with the body of a goddess and the mind of a Jedi. It's psychotherapist Diane Udell. Yeah. You are a Jedi goddess.
A Jedi.
Is that not how every woman would like to be described?
It's
the body of a goddess and the mind of a Jedi.
Well, it feels great, but I paid them well.
No, I don't believe you. It's true about you anyway, by the way. So the task this week gave the housemates a chance to earn the extra prize money of £25,000. Now, usually we see the housemates trying to win food as a reward, but this time it was money. So what extra pressure did that put on them, and how did they react with that pressure?
It's true. It is the root of all evil, and we're seeing it being played out because it's imploded in on them. The responsibility of cash in the heart of their living room has absolutely spun facets. In other words, parts of their personalities that we need to see, particularly at this stage, to start choosing and kind of flushing out our winner with the right minerals.
And does it start revealing things about them that we haven't seen?
Absolutely. Well, we were just bearing witness to it, and it's uncomfortable for them because they had kind of formed an internal equilibrium between them.
Well, they kind of were at peace, weren't they?
Momentarily.
Until, obviously, the whole kitchen listening conversation thing happened. What did you make to the whole pact that they made?
Pacts can work if it's discussed. They're all intelligent people. People want to be different, and people are different. If it had been intelligently discussed with kind of people's reasonings behind it, rather than a big high five, you know, fit of the moment, let's all make a pact right here and then, it could potentially work, but it would have to have 100% commitment from everybody, and it wasn't discussed. It wasn't allowed.
Did you believe that they would actually split it, all of them?
No. No, because again, we'll come to Chris in a minute, but we're at a stage in the game where we're going to see those that actually can hold together gameplay, because it is within the house at this final stage of the game, and it's exciting. It's actually really, really good. This task in particular is just giving us what we need at this stage.
Well, we had the power of money, obviously. That was a task, and the task all kicked off. The nominated housemates chose Chris to also face a public vote, which then added the highest value on the cards, which was £10,000. So during all the celebrating and the high-fiving and how no one really kind of thought about what they were doing maybe because they were so excited they got 10 grand, Chris was kind of substituted for the 10 grand to face eviction.
It sounds awful, but I just wanted to hear dun, 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 because it was like he was condemned to the gallows, waiting, and that he was sort of redeemed for a moment with this 10K. They're all jubilating all around him, and he's still kind of walking up to the scaffold, slowly, poor thing. So it was ironic. But again, his ambivalence, that he's made that bed of ambivalence about the money, about his time in the house, to his fellow housemates, has actually gone before him.
Well, Christopher did say, didn't he? He was like, you know, I think Chris won't mind. You know, he doesn't really mind about the game or being here till the end. I think he'd take it the best.
But if you did watch Chris's face in that moment, he went quite internal. In other words, when people look down their nose, they're kind of going in for internal thoughts. And when they look down, they're going into emotions. It did flicker, and I thought, ouch, that's hurt. That's
okay,
hurt.
so then we saw Big Brother offer Chris, Christopher and Mark the chance to spend some time with their loved ones for the cheap old price of £20 a second. Did you think all of them would say yes?
I thought Mark would buckle because they haven't had friends and family's letters at all, and he has been so paranoid he's needed reassurance. The other two I was very, very surprised at. It's 8 days to go. I think it was only Ash that kind of challenged it in the moment. But with just 8 days to go, they could have held on.
But what does that say about Ash? Does that say that he is strong enough to last 8 days, or does that say, why do that when we could keep a bit more money between us?
It could. I mean, his relationship with his mum is very, very strong.
Absolutely,
he doesn't need that reassurance. He knows it's there. But I think because those guys have been very paranoid, in particular Mark, they've needed that external... They were very vulnerable. And I think Big Brother just sort of dangled that carrot, and they all buckled.
They certainly did dangle. Now, of course, the final dilemma rocked the house, and it all exploded.
Yes.
Were you surprised by any of the decisions about keeping and not keeping money?
No, to be perfectly honest. I think Chris had to talk himself into it. He maybe being the Chris that we see on the VT. His audition VT said, I will go in and stir it, I'll pee in the sink, I'll do these things. His strength as a power housemate also meant that he could, at this stage, start game playing quite royally. And it's what we need, it's what we want as a housemate. He's actually quite good value in sense of that. The other two, not too surprised at all, because again, it was an altruistic, I'll be giving it to everybody, although Mark kind of backtracked a little bit about the value of that. But that's fair enough. They are still individuals in there. And I wonder wonderful audience member the other night said they're coming alone. They're going out alone.
I think it was quite apparent, though, wasn't it, that Helen and Christopher and I think Ashley, had she have been in there, and Winston, they weren't going to waver on not taking it, on taking it. They were absolutely not going to do that.
Absolutely. Well, it would have just meant it was clean for them, because you can see the hotbed that it's creating.
But they seem very
everybody.
much that way. This is what we agreed, and this is what we're going to stick to.
I know, but again, if everybody had been there and 100% committed to that rule, see Helen's rules again. She can't understand when somebody wants to be slightly different or make an internal or independent decision for themselves, which just creates incredible conflict. It's great for us, horrible for them inside.
Well, Chris, as we talked about earlier on, was definitely in the firing line. You have picked out this clip. Let's take a look.
Why?
Oh, what a crock of shit.
Oh, sorry?
Oh, crock of shit.
What?
Why are you both trying to act like fucking...
I'm trying to act like anything, Helen.
Mother
What do you mean act
Teresa.
like? Fuck you, I'm not trying to act like Mother Teresa. That's really rude.
That is the first time we've really seen him riled, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's been caught out because he wasn't very clear. Mark said, you haven't been very clear about what you would have done with the money. We know because he told us in the diary room, but I don't think even Ashley or Chris knew that he would divide it the 3 ways between them. He's been very murky and undecided and unclear, and they've all picked up on it. And one thing you can't do around someone like Helen, who's very black and white, and it's her rules, is do that, because she'll sniff it out a mile away.
What's going to happen to the house now? Oh. I'm really scared.
If the tasks this coming week are monetarily led, again, money's at the heart of it, we'll see more of this. There's no doubt about it. It's going to start flushing out who we want as our winner as well, which is great for us. Horrible for them, but great for us.
Diane, thank you so much.
Thank
Diane
you.
Udall, everybody. Right, coming up, some familiar faces and boobs are going to be here for a good old gossip. But now it's a double eviction on Friday, which means double the fun. Here are the numbers you need. This week is a double eviction, and Chris, Christopher, Mark, Winston and Pav all face the public vote. Who goes? You decide. From a landline, call 090 20 44 58 and add the number of the housemate you want to evict. From a mobile, call 650 58 and add the number of the housemate you want to evict. For Chris, add 03. For Christopher, add 04. For Mark, add 09. For Winston, add 16. For Pav, add 18. Mobile and BT landline votes cost 50 pence. Other landlines may vary. Or you can vote via the Big Brother app, where 2 votes will cost you 99 pence. Voting closes in Friday's eviction show. Votes cast after the lines close won't count. You can find terms on the Big Brother website. If we offended anyone last night, so just in case, here's a little apology. Sorry. No. Here's an exclusive.
Have you spoke today?
We spoke last night, though.
Yeah.
He came into the living room and we had a chat. He just went off on one, really. He just went. Then I was just kind of like, we're never going to see eye to eye on this, Mark. We're really not.
Yeah, you are just best to leave it because you just won't.
It is just best to leave it. He's just looking for me to agree with him, and I'm not going to do that. Like, he went off on one and it just asked me to agree with him. I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I was like, it's best we just leave this. I said, can we just leave this aside? Can we just agree to disagree on this and just try and get on and have fun? And he's just kind of like, I don't know how you can't see the point I'm trying to make. And I was like, look, we're not going to agree on it. Let's just agree that we have a difference of opinion and leave it at that, and let's try and be mates.
Yeah, don't let it ruin your experience.
Then we each said goodnight and he went to bed and we haven't spoken since.
Still trouble in paradise. Now, it wouldn't be Thursday night without a little bit of friends and family time. So this lot have gone from friends of the show to part of the family. Oh. It's ex-housemates Jolie, Stephen, Kimberly, Marlon and Bianca. Who, I'm very pleased to say, is fully clothed. However, I give it about 30 seconds before she's got them in my face again. I enjoyed the other night, thank you very much. Now, we've got to talk about the final take it or leave it dilemma. I don't know what you were like watching it, but I was like that. So, all of you, what would you have done? Let's start with you, Marlon.
Do I need to say?
Come on, Marlon.
I would have took it.
Would you have taken it to split it, or would
Oh,
you have
yeah,
taken it for yourself?
I wouldn't have took it for myself. I would have taken it to split it.
Okay, Jolie?
I'd have left it and gone with the pack that was originally agreed, definitely.
Agreed.
Yes.
I agree with Charlotte. I would have gone with the pact as well.
Kimberly?
Not to be a cop-out, but there was a pact that was made prerequisite to that conversation, so I would go with that.
I love she's got a lawyer head on. I didn't understand half of what she just said. And Bianca?
If I was Pav, I would have took it because no one likes him anyway. But for me, I would have just wanted to been in there, you know, experience the whole thing. So I would have wanted to stay to the end.
Yay!
To me, it was never about the money.
Definitely.
It was, time, ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
And the experience.
Marlon, you
Yeah.
said you would have
took
taken it. You pushed the button, as we all know. You got a lot of shit for it as well.
Yeah.
So how do you think Chris is feeling right now?
I feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry for him because, like, we was watching it and it's like, Mark done the same thing, but Mark didn't even tell. He said he was going to take £5 for himself and then give 10,500 or whatever, but he never disclosed that information to the house. So what makes him any worse? And I think Mark is starting to get found out.
Debate going on between the ex-housemates.
To be honest with you, the one thing for me that really stood out was the fact that Winston had a real vocal opinion on it. Now, usually he's quite impartial. He can be quite the sort of middle ground. If he took such a strong opinion to Chris, for me, there's a reason behind that. Winston usually is quite a kind of firm but fair character. So
now, this is actually one of the questions that was going to come a little bit further
Right.
on, and it was going to be to Marlon, but now that it's here, let's get it out there.
Okay.
So, Winston, cool as a cucumber, calm all the way through.
Yeah.
There's 2 times when he's got quite vocal. One was in defence of 3. One was in defence of Ashley during that argument.
Yeah.
One was when you pushed that button, and then the other one was when the money
Yes.
might not have been split fairly. So, when everything seems to be going... predictably, as a show should be, he seems to be okay. But the minute it might have a little curveball, he doesn't seem to like it.
No.
What is it? I mean, I'm just thinking, what is it? What do you think that means?
I mean, Winston's one of these people, I think he's quite, I mean, for myself and Kim as well and Winston, we were usually, hopefully, quite balanced in our opinion and perspective on people. Usually, if Winston does speak out, it's usually based on quite a fair reasoning. The fact that he was very vocal about Chris, for me, speaks quite...
But why was he not vocal?
Volumes.
Why was he not vocal when Mark drained all the money to see his family? Why not be vocal then? Why not be vocal then? I mean, I'm sorry, I like to think I was closer to Winston than Mark was when I was in the house. But when Mark came out and drained all the money, it was like, oh,
it might
it doesn't
be down
matter,
to
it's Mark.
trust. It might be down to trust. I
Yeah,
think
then don't
people
trust Mark.
I was just going to say, Stephen, you're being very quiet. You look like you're thinking a lot of thoughts.
I think people expected it from Mark in a funny sort of way. He's sort of like, we all know that Mark's a very outgoing character.
But does that mean he should get away with it?
It doesn't mean he should get away with it. You don't expect it as much from Chris. Chris has come out as this sort of like with this halo effect around his head. He's
That's
sort of
very
like
true.
going on and, you know, Ashley and looking after Ashley and being that kind of protective person. With Mark, he's sort of been out there and he's been a very outgoing character. I would have expected it more from Mark than Chris. So I think for me, it was very shocking when Chris did what he did. Because I would have expected he would have said, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not going to do it. That's just my opinion anyway.
See it, little brown.
Mark gets away with a lot.
Mark holds more transparency as opposed to Chris. He puts on a front that he doesn't actually express, but when he goes to the diary room, he expresses that front. People in the house hadn't seen that. We walk out of the house and we see that. It's a bit different.
Oh, so you're seeing a different person to the one that you lived with?
I did, yeah.
OK. Right, let's get back to this week's double eviction. 2 people leaving tomorrow.
Mark and Pav.
Hold on, Winston. Marlon,
Sorry.
I was going to say, face-to-face nominations this week,
Not with the
something
button
that
now,
you
Marlon, come on.
all escaped. None of you had to do it. I would imagine, well, I was going to say you might be quite relieved, but I think some of you might have quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. I would have loved that.
Someone that didn't escape it, though, and got hit pretty hard was Pav.
Yeah.
Do you think he deserved it, Stephen?
I think, in terms of entertainment value from a public's perspective, I think that Pav's probably one of the more boring housemates. That's just my opinion. I don't think he really does a lot. I think he's gone on the sympathy sort of the sympathy vote. You know, everyone thinks he's the victim. You know, Pav's not liked by everybody. Yes, he's come in halfway. It's not his fault. But if you were a housemate and you had been there from day one, you would be thinking, hang on a minute, this guy's walked in. I've been here since day one. Of course, I'm going to put him up for
But
nomination.
imagine if he'd been there since day one and you walked in on
and that's
day,
it. And the thing
you
is,
would
I'd
want to
do
be
the same
accepted,
thing.
wouldn't you?
And I I understand that, but remember, that it's sort of like the press is a majority.
Yeah.
So the majority of people in that house are going to be feeling like that.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
course they're going to put him up. But what I despise constantly is Chris's two-faced attitude towards Pav. You know, he says, you're a manipulator, you're a game player. And then he's going, but I really like him, he's such a nice guy. If you don't like him, put him up and get rid of him. Don't start lying to the housemates and saying that you actually think
Chris
he's a nice
also
guy.
did make a really strong point that actually when, obviously, myself, Chris, Marlon, a few other people that came in on day 2, Chris and Ashley were very vocal about how if any new housemates came in, they would make, welcome them with open arms, and I don't understand people from day 1. How could they possibly do that? We've seen Chris's reaction from day 2, like from basically Bianca, Zoe, and Pav. That's not someone who was very vocal.
That has been talked about quite a lot in here, actually.
Yeah.
He was the one that kind of wasn't
Disappointing.
included in the beginning, and now it's kind of happening to someone else. You know, you were very much accepted.
Yeah.
Pav obviously struggled a little bit more. Why do you think he is the remaining one, and the other two who kind of got dug in and got on and everything, they're gone. You both of you are gone.
Yeah, like, I still feel cheated, I'm not going to lie. You know, Pav's still in there and I'm not, because I felt like I gave everyone entertainment, whatever. But at the same time, Pav is not a horrible person.
Do you think he deserves to be in that final?
No, he doesn't, because it's not our fault that we got thrown in the middle. You know, we auditioned like everyone else in January. Do you know, it's not our fault that Big Brother put us in the middle.
Yeah.
So he's in there now, get over it. You know? And
So do you think he does deserve to be in the final, or he doesn't?
He's not making... He's boring.
not
To
making
me,
good
he's
TV.
boring. To me, it's boring, so I personally don't think he deserves.
So from an
but at the same
entertainment point of
time-
view, he doesn't deserve to be in
He
there.
doesn't, but at the same
from
time, he's in
coming
there for a reason, ain't he?
From a
He's in there for a
halfway point of
reason.
view, do you think
Yeah.
just because you come in halfway,
No,
you shouldn't be able to be in the
that's rubbish.
final?
No, I don't, because it's not our fault that we was put in the middle. Do you know? We clearly was put in the middle to shake things up. There was clearly a reason why we was thrown in the
And
middle.
you
in the
certainly
first
did
place.
that. You shook a couple of things up, to be honest. And okay, which two should go tomorrow? Bianca, let's start with
Chris
you.
and I think.
Who did you say?
Chris, because he's so fucking sneaky, it's unreal.
Yay!
Yep,
I'm
and
getting to you, hold on.
I'm really Pav, but not because of the person he is, because he hasn't really given much.
I say, okay, Chris and Pav.
Yeah. I definitely think Chris deserves to go, just based on the fact that he's the most two-faced housemate in the house. And I think that. And definitely Pav as well, just because he hasn't brought, like Bianca said, the entertainment level. Nothing against him, but entertainment-wise,
We've got to speed it up a
Chris,
little bit.
manipulative, boring, miserable, going in the diary and slagging people off. Pav, again, very boring. I'd much rather have seen Bianca in there than Pav, with all due respect.
Chris, because of the fact that Ashley and Chris, it's not real. Ashley didn't even speak out and defend Chris. That says a lot for me. And also, I feel Pav, because entertainment value, I don't really want to watch it either.
Mark, because he's just playing to the cameras. He thinks that we're stupid, but we're really not. Every time he says something, forget that.
Mark
And Pav.
And Pav.
Who's Pav?
Okay. Ex-housemates, everybody! Now, here's what happened when Louisa got her hands on the nominees before they went into the house, when they were all really innocent.
Why are you doing Big Brother?
I mean, there hasn't been a scouted in for years.
What have you achieved?
I've got on Big Brother, hello.
Pooper Scooper or Super Trooper?
Pooper Scooper. Super Trooper.
What turns you on?
Big tits turn me on. Girl like,
What's this?
you know.
Tell me what you do with the prize money.
Well, if I won, I've always wanted to have my own little boutique in Liverpool.
What is one thing that you'll never do in the house?
Oh, I don't really know.
Your earliest memory, what is it?
From Liverpool.
I don't know or I don't care.
I don't know. Don't care.
Criticism, how do you take it?
I need to kind of determine in my mind if it's fair criticism or not. I'd be more offended by opinions which insulted me personally or my integrity as a person if they were called into question. I'd probably want to find out more why. I'd be a little bit probing.
How do you take criticism? Because your hair's really shit. What's been the highlight of your life?
I lived in Liverpool.
Anyone ever told you you got big ears?
Yeah.
Wank or nap?
Wank.
Wank.
Ooh.
I don't really care what people think too much.
Snowballs or meatballs? Or my balls?
My balls. Meatballs.
Can you rub my belly?
I can rub your belly. Oh, very nice dress.
Thanks. If you were an animal, what would you be?
I'm so Liverpool.
Aw, you've got a lovely shirt.
Well, thank you.
I'm really into the
I
pineapples.
know. Fruity.
Leg or breast?
Breast.
Ooh.
Leg.
Leg. Oh, what?
What role do you think that you're going to play in the house?
Liverpool.
Okay, let's chat nominees. In the interest of fairness, we are going to spend a whopping 35 seconds discussing each housemate, because we've gone on that much. When we hear this noise...
Count me as the fucking Judge Judy's.
Time's up. We'll move on to the next one. So let's get this started. Let's talk about Christopher. People have been commenting that he's changed over the last couple of weeks. It's a focus group. Christopher, do you think he's changed? Have you seen a change in him? Is it for good or for bad?
I think the change in him is good. I really, I'm really liking him.
Helen, do you think he's ever really fit into the group?
No, because he was the one who was the last person selected for the netball team. I know they didn't play netball, but I saw his poor little mouth go because he was the last person. And now look at him. He's a king, isn't he?
He is. He's on fire,
yes,
isn't he?
He uses words like integrity.
He's been making up and breaking up.
Count me as the fucking Judge Judy's.
OK, let's move on to Pav. So he was nominated by every single person in the house this week. How do you think he dealt with it, Danny? And do you think he deserved it?
I do think he deserved it, just purely because, unfortunately, he was the last one in, so unfortunately it's the first one out. But I think he handled it well, though.
Helen, do you think he's made enough of an effort to kind of integrate with the group?
I'm going to break away from the group of just saying, you know, that one point. It's a bit expedient for everyone else to say no because he was the last one in, so you should go. Actually, what about the fact that, as my friend Bianca was saying, you know, they didn't choose when they came in, and I think he's actually been quite insightful about people, and he has tried to stand
Count me
up
as
to
the fucking
people.
Judge Judy.
Shut up, Helen.
But he's boring.
Are you talking to yourself?
Yes.
Next up, Mark. He's convinced that he is going home tomorrow. Good. Helen, do you think he will leave tomorrow?
Yes, I do. Unless the PAV convention reigns, I think he will. I think he's... no, I think it's... No, I can't do that accent. No, don't try. Yes, what can I say about Mark? He's doesn't really... impact on me in any way. He's playing.
He was labelled as fake during one of the tasks. Christopher, what are your thoughts on him?
I think his time is up. He should leave, and he is fake.
Audience?
Count me as the fucking Judge Judy's.
Not now. Right, on to Chris. He was put up for eviction by his housemates in the latest twist. Does he deserve to be there, Danny?
No, I want Chris to win. There, I've said it. I love the underdog. He always makes me laugh. And yeah, I just really like him.
Chris, does he deserve to go tomorrow?
I think he is spot on. His observations of other people is pretty spot on. He may be a little bit nervous where he hasn't got the balls to actually say it to their face, but his observations are spot on. And as far as Mark is concerned, the only thing he will get out of this house is bigger guns, because he's been punching above his weight for weeks now.
Count me as the fucking Judge Judy's.
And finally, Winston. Are you surprised he's up this week, Helen?
Yes, I can't remember. There was a reason. I can't remember the reason. Slightly disappointed in Winston because I thought he was going to get off with someone.
Well, he did try with Tamara, but then everybody booted her out in week one.
Yeah, so I was... yes, I remember that. And he resisted manfully, didn't he? The charms of Bianca that were quite close.
Yeah. And Danielle's footsie.
Yes, but I think he wisely thought, no, I'll be more popular if I don't go down that route. Wisely so.
Count me as the fucking Judge Judy's.
Helen, you had a whole section to yourself then.
I know, thank you.
Amazing.
It's a soliloquy, thanks.
Very quickly, Christopher, which two are going to go tomorrow?
Without a doubt, Pav, and I'm not afraid, but Mark has to go.
Danny?
I'm going to completely agree. Pav, because he's boring, and Mark, because he's vile.
Helen?
Oh dear, it's so mean, everyone today. I think Mark will probably go just because of the relationship twist with Christopher, and he's been exposed himself. I mean, well, I've heard them kissing.
Not literally.
Did you hear them kissing under the duvet? It makes me feel so...
There's a lot of noises.
I can't bear it.
So, Mark and...
I'll probably have all go, but it's not just.
Very quickly, audience. OK, thank you very, very much. Stay with us to find out which housemate has the cheapest looking wardrobe. Oh, no, not more. We're also going to have all the latest goings on from the house. We'll see you very soon. much entertainment and strong chat about game playing, then I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait another 10 minutes for Super Casino. Thanks. In the meantime, here's the news. At 10:51 this morning, Mark chatted to Big Brother about the impact of the money.
What impact has the power of money had on the house this week?
You know what, we've all been getting on so well, there's been no divide, but as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not happy about, there is going to be a divide in the house now. It's going to be Ashley, Chris and Christopher on one side, and then on the other side, me, Helen, Winston, Ash and Pav. It's not going to be nice. I wanted my final week in here to be the best week it could possibly be. I've had an amazing week so far anyway, but yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more awkward, I guess, at meal times and things like that.
Does that mean that Pav's been accepted into a group? Go on, Pav! Something good to come out of a very horrible task. At 2:32 this afternoon, Mark and Christopher had a heart-to-heart in the pod.
There's some things that for me are important, and you've got to be able to defend yourself, and you've got to be able to defend your mates as well. You defended him, but he didn't fucking defend you back. He let you fight his battle.
It was something I wanted to say. It was like I had a firework up my arse. I was ready to explode last night. And a million and one things I said I wanted to say to the group, and I was like, now is the right time to say it.
With you defending your mate, I'm just saying he's in the wrong for letting you defend him so easily and not do nothing about it. Do you understand that?
I do get that.
Go on,
really
reiterate that back to me, because I just don't think you do.
I'm exhausted, Mark.
Just
I'm
tell
thoroughly
me.
exhausted with this. No, I get the point you're trying to make. I do. I'm saying that you feel as though whenever I stood up for him as well, he should have told me to back down. That he should have said, look, I'm big enough, bold enough and ugly enough to fight my own corner.
Didn't call him ugly.
No, it's just an expression. I don't think he is. I think he's all right. But it's like, what? But it's like, it's just...
I think he's all right.
You know, but it's like, it's just an expression. It's like, I think he's big enough and bold enough and capable enough to defend himself. Not in that kind of scenario, Mark.
This love story has more ups and downs than Bianca's. Boobies! Boobies! And finally, at 3:10 this afternoon, Mark was given the shock of his life.
Christopher and Ashley, are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
Yes. Which of these housemates did the public say has the cheaper looking wardrobe?
Hey?
It would have to be me.
If it's me, I'll go mad.
Mark.
Maybe in terms of what you wear in the day, but in the evening you dress up and you
No, but I
make
wouldn't
an effort.
even. I'd actually die if they had said Mark.
Mark is very well put together all of the time.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Mark's the most... yeah.
Christopher
very
and
well put
Ashley,
together.
can you confirm your answer?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Me.
What? What?
He's gonna die. It's Mark. Somebody needs to get around me.
That is incorrect. The public thought that.
He's gonna die.
What the fuck?
But he cannot take that.
Do you have doctors?
I need fucking gas and air. I can't believe that.
You are going to need more than gas and air, Mark, if you win that 100 grand. Let's hope for the sake money can buy players in your wardrobe. That's today's news.
Come on, my darling.
Right, you've got 50 seconds to impress me and Biggins.
OK, cool. Well, firstly, we've got something new on the website. We've got a game.
A game?
Everybody. Yeah,
Game?
it's called Top Bruvs. I'm sure you can imagine
Top
how that
Bruvs,
works.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You print out the cards, play at home. It's amazing. Go to bigbrother.channel5.com. Go for it.
OK.
So we asked everybody on Twitter who they think should go. We've got some tweets right here.
Oh, gosh, so cutting. Oh, no, quickly now. Otherwise, we won't both get to go. Winston should go because I'm reading like a young person. I would just be like someone removed a piece of furniture. I didn't read that one because I haven't got my glasses.
This is from Stephen. It said Christopher because he is really irritating and slightly strange.
Danny, you did wonderful there. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Helen,
very much.
you did good.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Christopher, you were amazing just sitting here with
Darling,
me.
I
Thank
feel as though I've got a new vent act.
Good. Oh, don't think that's good. Violet's back tomorrow. He's going to be joined by Leslie Joseph,
No.
Casey Batchelor, ex-housemate Zoe, and not one, but 2 evictees.
2 evictees?
Two.